Welcome to another episode of Wealth Academy Podcast. I'm glad that you could be with us. I've shared on the previous two episodes about the fact of beginning my journey as a speaker and then the making of it where it is today. But what I also want to share with you on this episode is the fact that speaking, professional speaking, is a business. It's not a hobby. If you're not ever getting paid, it's a hobby. But if you're getting paid, you're speaking to organizations, a diversity of organizations such as Fortune 500 companies, corporations, businesses, nonprofits, federal government agencies, schools, universities, K through 12, and you're receiving a check. You're a professional speaker. So let's keep it in that particular realm. And it's not to say that if you are not paid, that if you can get the right audience with the right decision makers, it's just as good as getting paid because you may get two or three different opportunities for clients during those times. So today, what I'm going to talk about is the business of speaking and the speaking business. As I had mentioned in a previous episode, I am a member of the National Speakers Association, and you get that designation by a certain amount of revenue that you generate for your business. And I did it in the first year that I was a member, and I'm still a member to this day. But when it comes to business, you need to form it in an organization like a LLC. My company name is Wealth Building Academy LLC. So you want to incorporate. You may need a different structure or want a different structure like a S corp or corporation, whatever it may be. But look into that. You also need to get an EIN number, and that's employee identification number, because you may need that for getting banking purposes and more. And then you also want to look at getting you a business bank account, because you don't want to use your personal business bank account because you don't want to mix the monies. You want what is for business, and what you want personal, you keep that personal, because that's how business is conducted. And then you need to decide whether you want to do a brick and mortar, get your office, or if you want to do it out of your residence. And many people do it out of their residence now because we have the virtual training that takes place. And this particular episode is like a virtual program. And so as a result, you want to set yourself up so that you will be able to operate accordingly. Now, I started speaking again, and I want to mention her because I just had so much respect for her. But the late, great Dottie Walters, she wrote this book, Speak and Grow Rich, and her and her daughter, Lily. And I met her when I first started speaking, and she became my first speaking coach. And you can see here that she autographed the book. That's Dottie Walters. And she had over 50 years of experience in the speaking industry. And I knew that if I learned from her, I'd learn quite a bit. And I ended up being in her magazine. She put out a magazine, and I would be in her magazine as well. And then the transition from that, from a business perspective, then I started writing books, and it was because of Dottie. She held what she called a Magnificent Marketing Symposium in Burbank, California. So I went out there, didn't go to school to learn how to write a book, but I met people in the book publishing industry, book editing industry, and interior design. And this is the first book that I ever wrote. So this is one of my business assets. Living on Higher Ground, the very first book I wrote this book in 30 days. And I actually wrote two books, but I didn't publish the other one. I've yet to publish that one. And then this is the second book that I wrote and published. So it's a faith-based type of book. So another business asset. And then last but not least, the most recent book that I've written, solo book I've written, is Leadership is Influence. And I have about 2 or 3 more books in the works. So there'll be more, but this is another business asset. And then the transition from writing, I also started developing and designing digital courses, of which I provide leadership coaching as well, and mostly in that area of self-leadership. And so that's another asset. This podcast in itself is an asset. And I had a radio show the Wealthy Speaker Talk radio show. I had that for about 8 or 9 years. That's an asset. And then recently, I appeared in this book with the one and only Les Brown. He's on the cover of Voices of Change magazine, of which I am a part of that organization. And I conducted a help with a leadership panel that I happen to be on. I was on a panel. And so again, getting out in the public with audiences that you've never spoken in front of before, that does quite a bit as well, because it gives you that opportunity to get out there and get some exposure. So again, I mentioned earlier that I will be attending a speaker showcase, and that particular speaker showcase is coming up on July the 18th. And for people who are in the local area, I really would love for you to come on out and support me on this. And this is the presentation here in the graphic here that reflects where it's going to happen at. It's going to be at the AFI Silver Theater on 8633 Colesville Road, Silver Spring, Maryland. And it's a free event. And as it states here, one stage, 10 speakers, of which I happen to be one of them. And I will be delivering a speech titled Lead Yourself First. And it's a dynamic presentation. It's a keynote address. And the part of the coaching that I received from Dr. Cheryl Woods, she can teach you, and she is just amazing coach, entrepreneur, and leader in the powerful presence in the speaker coaching space, and even more. And she can taught us, all the 10 of us, how to put together a 6-minute keynote speech. Then if a client wants 15 minutes, you can add other layers to take it to 15. You can take it to 20, to 30, 45 minutes, an hour. And as I was developing my current speech for this keynote on the 18th, I noticed that I had a lot of material, which typically speakers have when they're preparing. But I could easily see how to take the speech out to 30, 45, or 60 minutes, because you add different layers within that keynote address depending on what the client is looking for. So that's also, this is an asset. And I'll share one more with you, and you'll be able to see all the members of the showcase who will be there. And of course, I'm on there. There's a picture with Dr. Cheryl Wood. And again, this is going to be Friday, July 18th at 1:00 p.m. And it's going to be a great time, and I'm really looking forward to it. And so when we get down to speaking as a business, that's exactly how you have to present yourself. And it takes a bit of work, but it's worthwhile. And when it comes to speaker fees, it really varies. Sometimes it varies based on the budget for the organization that you want to speak to. And if there happens not to be a budget, you could, and if you have some assets such as, say, one of the books or even a co-authored book, then you can leverage that. Perhaps they can purchase copies of the book. Everyone who attends are copies of the book. And you provide it at a discount for them. So that can bring you in some revenue. And then you ask for referrals. Referrals is really one of the best ways in order to get the next speech and the speech after next. And then you can also conduct some seminars, teleseminars, some webinars, master classes. And so those are different levels and elements. And so but the question is asked, do you have the goods? And what are the goods? The goods are, do you have a digital program in which you can offer to your clients? And do you have some coaching that you can offer to them? Can you go through a joint venture or collaborative perspective, either speaking or writing a book? I was recently with a collaborative writing community, and the book that we had is titled, it's actually a book with, if I'm not mistaken, 14 of us. And it's really a prescription for career success is the name of the book. And it became a #1 best-selling book. So as a part of the assets, that's a part of my asset as well. because I'm getting more exposure and visibility. I'm participating in TV and radio opportunities as well. In fact, I have on July 15th, I have an interview with Blue Talk, and they will be interviewing me. I will be talking about my book. I will be talking about speaking and what my mission is. And what you have to have a mission in terms of what you want to do. For example, I happened to see Lisa Nichols yesterday, and her message is motivating the masses. So she's just a tremendous speaker coach in her own right, and she does high level speaker coaching and speaking and different programs such as that. And so you want to have that. So my tagline is the leadership catalyst, and I can carry that because I have the authority of 22 years as a United States Air Force military officer, and 12 of those 22 years in the Pentagon. And so I have that authority. I have the book, I have the speeches, so I can actually go out, and that's an asset. Because I attended every leadership school that the Air Force had to offer, and that's what did it for me. But if you would like to learn more about becoming a speaker, you can contact me. I'll give you my phone number first. It's 240 area code 416-5077, or you can reach me by email at info@paulvannspeaks.com. I'll repeat that, info@paulvannspeaks.com. You can also go to my website, www.paulvannspeaks.com, and you'll be able to find all information there, more information, and I'd love to help you work through becoming a speaker from a business perspective, of course. So my time is up. I thank you for yours, and I'll see you on the next episode of Wealth Academy Podcast. This is your host, Paul Lawrence Vann, saying to you, have a great day, and may your day today be better than it was yesterday. Take good care for now, and I'll see you on the next episode.